Hey, hello friends. Losing me already? Should I try to restart it or should I just go for it? I don't know. I know Periscope's being funky. I know I miss you already too. I'm like, I just saw you. You're here. You can see me now. Okay, cool. All right. So, yay. Hi. Hi, Mel. So, if you guys miss you, oh, I know, interesting subject. So I was just thinking about this today. And there's this huge like shift right to this community over competition thing, and hi from Australia. And so I wanted to talk about this because and I don't want it to get super, I hope it doesn't get super ranty. Look at all the hearts you guys are like, preach it, preach it. Thanks for sharing too. So I don't want to get super ranty or preachy, but this has to be said. And I also just want to kind of make you guys think about it and kind of get aware of it so that you don't feel like you're getting taken advantage of, all those kind of things. So I have 4 points. I'm actually organized today. So I have 4 points I want to talk about. So I just got back from an amazing trip, actually 2 trips sort of put into one, where I went to 2 back-to-back conferences from really, really sweet and good friends of mine. And I met a whole bunch of people, and it was such a good community. And it made me realize that that's not normal. Not that that's not normal, but that community over competition can go really well and really right. And both of the ones that I was just at went really right and went really well and were exactly the way they're supposed to be. But with that said, there's a lot happening and it's not happening the way it's supposed to be. So I kind of just want to almost kind of throw out some ideas so that you guys understand what the difference is and where it goes wrong and how it goes wrong. And hopefully if you guys are doing any of these things that you stop doing them. Did you just see my I'm a creative founder shirt? I'm wearing it right now. I just realized. Okay, so everyone uses this saying, right? A rising tide lifts all ships, okay? But the problem, so using that saying again, let's kind of throw it back to the whole water thing. Drawing water out of a well or out of a lake or whatever, is the more you draw, the more it's going to lower, right? So you're not rising ships unless you're adding, right? You're not rising the tide unless you're adding to it. So that you got to be very, very careful to give more than you take. So if you're one of those people that are going out there, oh, I know. I wish everyone was together. Well, we're doing it in June though. But when you think about it, rising ships, it means more people are adding than they are taking. And I see some communities that are built on just taking, and there's no giving back. And this is really, really important. You cannot have, you can't build this relationship based on that. So this can go wrong very quickly in communities and Facebook groups where people are taking. They're just constantly drawing from the well and not giving back. I know I wish you guys were together, but I feel so lucky that I got to go to both. So that's my first thing to think about. Are you drawing water and not giving any back? Or you need to be filling, overflowing so that you rise those ships, right? That's number 1. Number 2 is that community means support more than just advice. So this is a big one, and this might like hit a couple nerves and stuff, but true communities put their money where their mouth is. Please, like, hear me out, because I'm like the nicest person on the planet, okay? Well, maybe I'm not the nicest, but I think that I'm one of those nice people. But true community puts their money where their mouth is. So you support people monetarily as well as just advice. So this means that you hire each other and you support each other and you buy each other's programs and, there could be a lot of ways that you support people. But don't just get free all the time. Don't just expect free, kind of, just using them for all they want. From the other side. Just using kind of in a way. And even if you can be supportive, but honestly, like that's the thing. Like really close friends of mine will hire me for their web design. And it's one of those things where, like, even Jennifer, she's on here. I was like, thank you so much, like, for believing in me and trusting me. Like, that is the ultimate community. When you are the nicest person on the planet. Oh, hi, Cammie. That is real community. When you actually believe in each other enough to give to support them in monetarily, right? Does that make sense? And I hope that doesn't come off the wrong way. But if you really want to support your community, like buy their stuff, sing their praises. Don't just give them advice or say, hey girl, you're doing a good job, whoop whoop. Like actually support them. If you really believe in them and you believe what they're doing, get your wallet out, right? Like I know this sounds weird for me to say, but I just see this happen so often that people use each other in community, but they don't actually support each other monetarily, right? Like we need to be buying from each other. And it's almost like that whole small business thing, like, buy from small business, like on Black Friday, but actually buying from the businesses that you're friends with and supporting them, right? That's another way that you can support them, not just advice or being there for them, but actually supporting them, saying, I believe in you, right? Good. I'm glad you guys agree and I'm not getting too much flack for this. And then my third tip, or whatever it is, I don't know if it's a tip, my rant is, that sometimes community over competition can be used as a veil to take advantage of competition. So remember that, I know this is really bad. I could talk about this forever, yeah. So sometimes people like use this community over competition thing and, let's open up to each other and let's tell each other all the tricks. But other people are just taking advantage. They're not really like actually being community. They're actually stealing, right? They're taking information from other people, like free advice or free things or whatever. And my good friend Heather Crabtree talked about this a couple weeks ago, about taking things for free and just like using people. But people use it as a veil to make like, oh, we're friends, we're cool, like we're just gonna like trade ideas and trade secrets and it's gonna be all good. And then one person runs off with it, right? And does these bad things, and it makes people not want to ever give, right? It makes people go, oh, like, why would I ever tell anybody my stories or my ideas or my thoughts whenever people are just gonna take? Oh, good. I'm glad you guys like it. So in the way that you can make sure you're not doing this by just taking is remembering to thank people and remembering them, right? It's the worst, and this has happened to me since the beginning, right? Since the very beginning when I first started my business, where I will help people because I'm definitely a yes person, I'm a helper, I love helping, and I'm never going to stop, right? But I've seen where I'll help people like kind of raise them up, and then all of a sudden, no one wants to work hard anymore, seriously. And then all of a sudden, I get no thanks. Like all of a sudden they're on some other level and they just forgot. They just forgot that I actually literally held their hand through all this and I taught them this and I gave them all this like ideas and free advice and whatever. And all of a sudden I don't exist anymore, and it hurts, right? It really hurts when you pour yourself into somebody and you're like, you know what? I'm going to help you. I know you need help, right? I know you need support. And then all of a sudden they forget. They forget where they got the help from, and they forgot where they got the support from, and they don't thank you. And they act like it's their own ideas, and you're like, what? And I totally get it. Like people forget, and not to say that people don't work hard, right? People really work hard, but you got to remember those people that helped you up. Those little, when you kind of work your way up that ladder, you got to remember the people that that helped you to get up that ladder. Share this now. That's happened to me a lot. Yeah, seriously, like. Thank those people that when you were just starting out and you didn't know anything and they took a chance on you or whatever, or supported you. Thank them, you guys. That is the way. That is real community. That's real community over competition, right? So then my last one, I feel bad that like I'm going through these really fast, but I think they're all really important, and you guys are just agreeing, so it's good. Best business mentor. Aw, thank you, Kathy. Step in your face to get hired. Yeah, exactly. So my last one is remember to only share what you're comfortable with, and don't feel any pressure to share things that you feel are too close to your business or are proprietary to your business. People will use community over competition as an excuse to get information that you're not ready to give or that you're not comfortable giving, like, oh, you're being stingy because you're not giving away this information. So only share what you're comfortable with. It doesn't mean community over competition doesn't mean that you have to tell all, right? It doesn't mean that you have to go, okay, every time someone wants coffee or every time somebody wants to pick my brain, I have to be there, right? It doesn't mean that. And it doesn't mean that when someone asks you who your printers are and you don't feel comfortable telling them, it doesn't mean you have to. That's not what it means. It means you can support each other, but it doesn't mean at the detriment of, the things that you worked really hard to do. So that's kind of like my last thing that I want to close with is just to just only share what you're comfortable with. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Wow, there's like so many people here. I'm like, no one cares that I have no makeup on, right, today? So those are my 4 tips for you, and that is how, community over competition can go really wrong really quickly. And the problem is if it keeps going wrong, and I'm seeing it happen more and more and more often, that pretty soon community over competition is going to break apart. Like, the system doesn't work unless it's a give and take, help, support, right? It can't just be give, or pretty soon, that tide is going to be completely empty, right? No more water, no more nothing. So it's like, it goes all the way down, and pretty soon people are going to be like all guarded again, right? That's why people were guarded in the first place, and they're like, oh my gosh, people are like evil and whatever, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, fine, like, like, we're like, okay, let's share. And then now people are starting to take, and it's going to fall apart. So we have to be the, the change, whatever, to make sure that we're doing it the right way, and we're doing community the right way. So let me do a quick recap. Glad someone's saying this. Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only person. You're so important to the community to create. Oh, you're awesome. Okay, so four things. Number one, rising tides lift all ships, but only if you're adding water and not pulling water away consistently. So you need to be giving back, giving more than you're taking. You need to fill up the well, right? You need to fill up the water. Make it rain over coffee, yeah. Number two is community means support more than just advice. And sometimes it means putting your money where your mouth is, right? True community really support each other monetarily, physically, doing the ugly stuff that nobody wants to do, right? Not just the, hey, here's my advice, but literally hiring each other, supporting each other, buying from each other, right? Actually helping each other in that way. Number three, community over competition is used as a veil for some people to take advantage of competition. So in order to combat that, you want, invest, exactly. In order to combat that, you want to remember to thank them, and it just period. Just remember to remember. Remember to remember them. So when you go up the ladder or whatever, thank the people that helped you to get there. Remember where that all came from, right? Remember who helped you, and make sure you give that back, right? To other people too. So just make sure that you're not using it as a veil to take advantage of competition. You really are thanking people and really making sure that you're, whatever. I feel like I'm repeating myself. So my last point, just a recap, is to only share what you're comfortable with. So remember, community over competition doesn't mean you have to tell all. It doesn't mean you have to give all the information, right? It doesn't mean you're stingy or you're not being a team player, right? Just because if you can have some information guarded, and you can say, I don't feel comfortable sharing with that. That's totally okay, right? It's all about your health. Oh, good. Yay. Hi, friend. How are you, Lauren? Long time no see. So those are my tips. Those are my 4 tips. I'm glad you guys agreed. 15 minutes for the random person. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Yeah, but that's the thing. When you teach a man to fish, like, have that person said,